No sound. Going to have to shout.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here with all of you. The purpose and the main reason Karen and I were here to let you know about the group of friends that we launched yesterday. This group of friends is about women in Afghanistan. And the purpose of the group of friends is to protect and safeguard the gains of the last 18 years in Afghanistan that has been made towards women's rights, especially during the peace process, and under the umbrella of 1325 UN Women, Peace and Security. This group of friends is co-chaired by me and Ambassador Karen, and it's made of members, UN member states, and here, especially by female PRs and DPRs who are engaged and interested into the issue of women in Afghanistan. We have about 20 plus members, and we also have honorary members. Including those honorary members, we have the Foreign Minister of Indonesia, as well as Barnes Hodgson, who is an honorary member and from the UK, and she is a great advocate for women in Afghanistan. But the work we would be doing is that we will really make sure in here with our colleagues and friends at the UN to advocate for women in Afghanistan, and especially that the main purpose to make sure that they are not recognized by victimhood, but rather than as partners. There is a new story, there is a new Afghanistan, and part of that new Afghanistan is the woman in Afghanistan. I always wanted to remind people that we have come so far in trying to make sure to protect the rights of women in my country, and making sure that women, once again, are not stoned to death, they are not prohibited or prevented from going to schools and earning education. That is the story of Afghanistan and the leadership role that women are taking in my country. So we're trying to present a balanced narrative here at the UN and here at the US. And another part of our work, which would directly relate to you, is to be engaged with media and also humbly request that when you are covering the story of Afghanistan, yes, I absolutely acknowledge there are a lot of troubles. We're still challenged with insecurity, but there is also another part of the story of women like me who are here to present my country with honor. So Karen and I, we will be here to respond to your questions, but we really would like to have this great cooperation and collaboration with all of you in any way possible to help us with our cause and our purpose. Karen.
Well, thanks very much, Adela. And this is an important venture for me. I arrived in Afghanistan as British ambassador just after Farkhunda had been killed in the mosque, and just after there was a big march for her. And I remember thinking, well, what would I have done if I'd been in Afghanistan? Would I have gone on that march? And that sounds like an obvious question that you would answer yes to. But actually, the security situation means that it's very hard for foreigners to go on those marches. But I decided that I would do that, and that I would speak out about the issues that had caused that attack on Farkhunda. And as Ambassador Adela said, Afghanistan is becoming a different place, but there is still a long way to go, despite the government's very best efforts to have women fully integrated. And the group of Friends of Women in Afghanistan in the UN wants to be able to play that supporting role, and wants particularly to be able to be a champion of involving women in the Afghan peace process. And that's in line with all our work on 1325 and women, peace and security. It's also very important as we come into the anniversary year in 2020. So we want to use the group to be what someone in the meeting called purposeful and consequential. It's not just a talking shop. We will be integrating with other activities on Afghanistan. But as I say, it's got this very central role of wanting to put women right at the heart of the peace process, not so that they have to be invited, but so that they are an integral part from the word go. Thank you. questions? Yes?
Yes. James Bays from Al Jazeera. On Afghanistan, congratulations on your new group. Clearly there have been some important developments in the last few hours with this prisoner swap. Can I get both of your reactions to that, and whether you have any misgivings about 3 prominent Taliban members, including a member of the Haqqani family, being let go as part of this deal? And to the President of the Security Council on a different issue, does the UK have a moral duty as a signature to the joint declaration to raise the issue of Hong Kong in the Security Council, given what's going on now?
Do you want to answer the first?
Sure. Well, it's a timely question, especially for the discussion that we have today at the Security Council on the reconciliation process. Look, peace is not easy. The process is painful. It needs patience, it needs determination, and it needs big hearts. I absolutely can tell you it was not an easy decision for the government of Afghanistan, especially for the people of Afghanistan, to be fine with that. But look, it's not easy, but where we hope that this will be an important gesture from the government of Afghanistan that will be taken, that we're really serious about peace negotiations. And we hope to see the promises that the Taliban had made in order that they will reduce violence or have a ceasefire in order to show their indication that they are serious and committed to peace and negotiations.
I agree with what Ambassador Adela said. On Hong Kong, the British Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab has been very clear that we look to the commitments in the joint declaration to be upheld. People should be allowed to protest peacefully, but I think the word peacefully is an important part of that. I have no instructions to raise it in the Security Council at the moment, but the Foreign Secretary raises it frequently, both with his Chinese counterpart and in some of his other meetings. Edie?
Thank you, Edith Lederer from the Associated Press. Given the past history of the Taliban regarding its treatment of women, how certain are you that the government will never let that kind of treatment as 10th-class citizens return? And what else do you believe that the international community could and should be doing to ensure that the rights of women are protected?
Well, I'm not certain. I'm not totally certain, and that's why we mobilized and tapped on the tremendous support that exists here at the UN with my amazing female colleagues here at the UN who themselves, they are the champions of women's rights. They are a force, and I always say that, and that's why we're really making sure that the voice of women is meaningful. It's not only, as Ambassador Karen said, that they would be at the peace table, in the negotiation table as a symbol, but rather having a voice that can make a difference, where the outcome of the agreement will be implementable and acceptable to the women in my country and to the public, because we have a population where 70% of our population is made of the younger generation. And despite many youth in our region, the youth in Afghanistan are pro-democracy, pro-democratic values, pro-rights of women. And that makes it an important part of an agreement that will be accepted, implementable, and that will be sustainable and durable. And women's rights and minorities' rights are part of it. So that comes to my government and those who are negotiating on behalf of people of Afghanistan.
I think just to add to that, I think if my historical memory is right, Afghanistan gave women the vote before America did. Now, that's an important historical moment, however imperfect some of the intervening years have been. And Afghanistan has made a great number of international human rights commitments. And I think we would expect any government, whether it's composed of the Taliban or not, has Taliban members or not, any government should abide by the international commitments that country has made. And I think that is one answer to your question. We need to see that level of implementation of those commitments, and the international community, including in the UN, needs to be ready to call out when those commitments are not being implemented.
Margaret Bashir, Voice of America. Ambassador Raz, how many countries are in your group, and is it only the female PRs and some of the FMs, or have you welcomed your male counterparts in, and what kind of support have they given you?
Sure. I do have a list, but it's 20 plus countries. As of now, we have been a little bit of I'm not going to use the word discriminatory, but we have encouraged all the countries to have women PRs and DPRs, but it is definitely open to male PRs and DPRs as well. It really comes from the core of strength of a lot of women PRs that are here, and I think that was my personal drive to think about this group and really mobilize and tap on the support that exists in here. So if you want me, I can very quickly read the name of the countries. We have right now Australia, Canada, France, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Lithuania, Kyrgyzstan, Lebanon, Lithuania, Norway, Poland, Qatar, Sri Lanka, Turkey, Turkmenistan, UAE, US, the African Union, and there has been interest from Germany as well. And as we also have, as an observatory member, the DSG, Ms. Amina Mahmoud, and as well as the UN Women. So we do know this group will expand. Evelyn?
Thank you. Do you have an increase or a plan for shelters where abused women can go?
Yeah, it's a difficult problem in Afghanistan, and the government is responsible. We have taken the responsibility. We have started to build shelters for them, but I do know it's not sufficient. It's not enough. We have to do more for that, and that's where the role of civil society, which we are grateful as a government to very engaged and active women activists in Afghanistan that have been doing tremendous work, as well as the UN. UN has been a tremendous partner with us in the country, and the international community, all of us, all of you, your respective countries have been engaged in the right way. So we hope one day we will reach a point where there would be no need for women to be in shelters, where the necessary rights and freedoms that they require within their household and their societies will be protected and given to them.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Well done.